The room was cold. Not because of weather, but because of fear. Behind iron bars stood Eli, a human man, thin, bruised, and shivering. Around him, dozens of strange alien buyers whispered to each other, their eyes glowing under the dim blue light. He could not understand their language, but he understood one thing. He was being sold. A metal sign above the cage blinked. Lot 47, human male, good heat capacity, obedient. The crowd murmured with interest. One of the taller aliens clicked its claws. Perfect for a bed warmer, it hissed in broken English. The others laughed, a sound that felt like knives in Eli's ears. He didn't move. He had learned that movement brought attention, and attention brought pain. A voice echoed through the hall, robotic, emotionless. Bidding starts at 200 credits. Hands, claws, tentacles, all lifted. The price rose fast. Eli closed his eyes. He had stopped hoping months ago. He didn't remember the last time someone said his name kindly. To them, he wasn't Eli. He was a thing, something to be owned. Finally, the gavel slammed. Sold, to Lady Vera of the Cold Empire. Lady Vera was tall, her skin silver blue like moonlight, her eyes deep and empty. She looked at Eli as one might look at a tool, curious but detached. "Bring him to my chamber," she ordered. Eli was dragged through long glass corridors filled with steam. Machines hummed. Guards in silver armor stared straight ahead. The floor vibrated under his bare feet. This was not a planet, but a ship, moving through the dark sea of space. When they reached the chamber, warmth hit his face. It was a luxury he hadn't felt in years. A massive bed made of crystalline fur dominated the room. The guards threw him on the floor. Lady Vera walked closer. "You humans are rare now," she said softly, almost kindly. "Your bodies make good heat. The others get cold easily. You will stay near me. You will keep me warm." Eli didn't answer. He just stared at the ground. She touched his face, studying the lines of exhaustion. "Don't worry," she whispered. "I don't hurt what keeps me comfortable." He flinched anyway. She smiled, the kind of smile that hides something dark. That night, as she slept, Eli sat quietly at the edge of the bed. His body trembled, not from cold but from rage. He looked at the stars outside the window, tiny dots in endless black. Somewhere, he thought, there were other humans. Somewhere, someone must be free. He whispered to himself the only prayer he still remembered. "Don't forget me." Suddenly, he heard a soft click from the door. It wasn't the guard's usual step. It was careful, almost human. He turned slightly, pretending not to notice. The door opened and a shadow entered the room, small, fast. It stopped beside the bed. The figure wore dark armor with a glowing emblem on the chest, a human symbol. A voice whispered, low but sharp. "Stay quiet." "I'm here to get you out." Eli froze. His heart pounded. "A human here? After all these years?" The intruder looked at him. Their eyes met, real human eyes full of fire and purpose. Eli wanted to speak, to shout, to ask 1,000 questions, but fear held his tongue. The rescuer glanced toward the sleeping alien, then back to him. "You've been sold as heat," they said. "But tonight we turn that heat into fire." Eli stared, disbelief and hope mixing inside him like lightning in a storm. For the first time in years, his hands stopped shaking. For a few seconds, time stopped. Eli's heart beat so loud he thought the sleeping alien could hear it. The stranger's eyes, human eyes, were fixed on him. A soft blue light from the window touched the side of their face, revealing a young woman. Her armor was dark and smooth, like shadows made of metal. On her shoulder, the symbol of Earth Command glowed faintly, a mark Eli hadn't seen in years. She moved closer and whispered, "Name's Kara. Stay silent and follow my lead." Eli wanted to speak, to ask if Earth still existed, if humans had survived, but his throat was dry and the years of fear chained his voice. So he just nodded. Kara pulled a small device from her wrist. A red light scanned the room, mapping it. Then she turned off the device and looked toward the alien sleeping on the bed, Lady Vera. "She's in deep cryo-sleep mode," Kara muttered. "Won't wake unless we make noise," Eli blinked. "Cryo-sleep?" he whispered. She smiled faintly. "You'll learn. Just not here." Kara gave him a thin blanket-like fabric. "Put this on," she said. "It hides your body heat from sensors." He wrapped himself in it. For the first time in years, someone was giving him something, not taking something away. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Outside, the long corridor shimmered with white light. Alien guards stood far at the end, silent as statues. Kara moved like a shadow and Eli followed. Each step felt heavier. He didn't know if this was real. Maybe it was another dream, one that would vanish when he woke. They passed glass walls showing more rooms, each holding something human. A child asleep, a woman staring blankly at a ceiling, men working machines with metal collars around their necks. Eli felt sick. He whispered, "They took more of us." Kara's jaw tightened. "Yeah," she said. "The Cold Empire bought thousands. Slavery, experiments, comfort. Humans became property." Eli felt anger rise inside him, a feeling he hadn't allowed for years. "And Earth? What happened to Earth?" Kara didn't answer at first. Her silence said enough. Then quietly she said, "Earth fought back, hard, but the war isn't over." They turned a corner and stopped. Two guards blocked the exit door, tall and pale with glowing rifles. Kara pushed Eli behind her. "Stay back." Before he could protest, she stepped forward. Her hand moved fast, pulling a small cube from her belt and tossing it toward the guards. It landed near their feet and flashed white. A sound like thunder filled the corridor. The guards fell, silent, stunned, smoke rising from their armor. Kara grabbed Eli's arm. "Move!" They ran, his bare feet slapping against cold metal. The ship shuddered slightly, alarms beginning to hum. Somewhere far away, voices shouted in alien tongues. The rescue had been seen. They reached a side room, small, filled with glowing tanks. Kara slammed the door shut and pulled a wire from the wall. "This will buy us a minute," she said. Then she turned to him. "Listen, you've been gone a long time, Eli. We didn't forget you. There's a small group of us, and still human, still fighting. We track down every captured one we can find." Eli stared at her. "Why me? There must be others more." She cut him off. "You're special, Eli. Your body chemistry, your heat, matches the old Earthline soldiers. The Cold Empire used you to study human resistance. You might hold the key to stopping them." He couldn't believe it. He'd been treated like nothing, yet now someone was saying he was important. A voice echoed outside, metallic and angry. "Human intruder detected. Seal Deck 12. The walls trembled. Red lights flashed. Kara pulled a small gun from her hip. "Time's up. We fight or die." Eli looked at her, fear and determination mixing. "I'm not going back in that cage," Kara smiled. "That's the spirit." She opened the door, and chaos waited. Guards charged down the hallway, firing blue energy bolts. Kara returned fire, her movements sharp and fast. One by one, the aliens fell, but more came. Eli grabbed a fallen weapon. It felt strange in his hand, heavy but familiar. He aimed at a charging guard and pulled the trigger. The blast threw the alien back. His hand shook, but for the first time it wasn't from fear. Kara shouted over the noise, "You still remember how to fight?" He didn't answer, but his eyes burned with something new. Purpose. Finally, they reached an airlock. Outside the glass door, stars glittered endlessly. A small ship waited, hovering just beyond the magnetic field. Kara pressed a code into the panel. "Once that opens, we jump," she said. Eli looked back down the corridor in alarms, lights, chaos. He took one deep breath. "Let's go." The door hissed open. The vacuum pulled at them, cold and wild. Kara leapt first, activating her gravity boots. Eli followed, flying into open space. For a moment, he was weightless, free, until the small ship's hatch opened, pulling them in. The door shut behind them with a loud bang. Silence. Eli fell to the floor, gasping. Kara removed her helmet and looked at him. "Welcome back to the living, Eli. You're not a bed warmer anymore." Eli looked out the window, the alien ship growing smaller behind them. He whispered, "Then what am I now?" Kara smiled faintly. "Now? You're the start of a revolution." The small ship trembled as it sped away from the alien cruiser. Eli sat on the cold floor, still breathing hard, his heart trying to understand what freedom felt like. He could still see the reflection of the alien ship in the window, a silver monster fading into the dark void. Kara moved to the front console and typed a few quick commands. "We're clear," she said. "Hyperjump in 60 seconds." Eli looked around. The ship was small. Only 2 seats, a metal bed, and a wall full of blinking lights. Everything smelled like oil and ozone. It was ugly and beautiful at the same time, and because it wasn't a cage. Kara turned to him. "You did good back there," she said. "Most people freeze the first time." Eli gave a faint smile. "I froze for years," he said quietly. "Tonight was the first time I moved." The engines roared. The stars stretched into long silver lines as the ship jumped into hyperspace. Everything went white for a moment, then silent. Kara leaned back. "We've got about an hour before we reach Haven Station," she said. "You should rest." Eli shook his head. "No, tell me everything. You said there's a war. You said I'm important. Why?" She hesitated, watching him. Then she said, "You deserve the truth." She opened a small hologram projector. A blue map appeared in the air. Stars, planets, and red zones spreading across the galaxy. 20 years ago, Kara said, the Cold Empire attacked Earth. They wanted our heat, literally. Human body energy is unique. They use us as living generators, slaves, and comfort. Eli clenched his fists. The word comfort stabbed at him. Kara continued, "But humans didn't die quietly. Some escaped. They built secret colonies, Haven being one. We've been rescuing whoever we can." Eli pointed at the map. "And me, why was I kept alive?" Kara zoomed in on a red planet symbol. "They experimented on you. Your body adapted to their freezing worlds. You produce more heat than any human we've found. They wanted to breed more like you. Humans who could survive without machines." Eli stared at his hands, feeling sick. "So they wanted me to make more slaves," Kara nodded. "Until we stopped them." Silence filled the room. Only the soft hum of the engines spoke. Then Kara said, "You know, there's a story about humans like you. People who survive when no one else can. We call them firekeepers. You might be one." Eli frowned. "I'm no hero," Kara smiled faintly. "Neither am I, but we don't need heroes. We need survivors." She stood and handed him a small silver badge with the symbol of a burning flame. "Keep it, it's what we fight for." Eli took it, feeling its warmth. For the first time in years, something inside him felt alive. Not hope exactly, but the beginning of it. A warning light flashed red. The ship shook violently. Kara ran to the console. "Damn it, we've got company, Empire scouts!" Eli looked out the window. 3 black ships appeared, sharp and fast, cutting through space like knives. Their energy beams lit the darkness. Kara shouted, "Hold on!" The ship twisted sharply. Blue lasers burned past them, missing by inches. The hull screamed under pressure. Kara fired back. Bright orange plasma bursts. 1 enemy ship exploded, but 2 remained. "Can't you jump again?" Eli shouted. "Recharging engines," she yelled. 30 seconds. Another blast hit the side. The cabin filled with smoke. Eli coughed, trying to see. Kara struggled with the controls. "We can't take another hit." Then Eli noticed something. A small pod door labeled Manual Turret Control. He didn't think. He just moved. He climbed inside, strapped himself in, and grabbed the controls. Screens lit up around him, targeting the enemy. He aimed, fired, missed, tried again. This time the beam struck. The enemy ship burst into pieces. The last one turned sharply, trying to flank them. "Good shot," Kara shouted. "One more!" Eli locked on, waited for the moment, then fired again. The explosion lit the black sky. Silence returned. Kara smiled. "You're a natural." Eli breathed heavily, sweat dripping down his face. "Guess being a bed warmer taught me to handle the heat." She laughed. The first real laugh either of them had heard in a long time. The ship steadied. Kara wiped her face and said softly, "We'll be at Haven soon. The others will want to meet you." Eli looked out at the stars, the endless dark now feeling a little less empty. But deep down, something bothered him. He remembered Lady Vera's last words before he was taken away. "You will keep me warm forever, human." Her voice echoed in his mind. What if she wasn't sleeping, but watching? He turned to Kara. "They'll come for me." "They always do." Kara met his eyes. "Then we'll be ready." The small ship drifted through a field of broken satellites and frozen asteroids. Through the window, Eli saw a glowing ring in the distance, a giant circle of steel and light spinning slowly in the dark. Its surface shimmered with blue shields and blinking towers. Kara smiled faintly. "Welcome to Haven Station, the last home of free humans." Eli stared in silence. After years of cages and cold walls, the site looked like a dream. Ships of different shapes moved in and out of the station's docking ports. Some were tiny, some were massive. Every one of them carried the symbol of a flame, the same one on the badge Kara gave him. As they approached, a voice crackled over the comm. "Unidentified shuttle, state your code." Kara pressed a button. "This is Scout 29, Captain Caravan. I have a survivor." "Authorization, Delta 7. There was a short pause. Then the voice replied. "Permission granted." "Welcome home, Captain." When the ship docked, the door slid open with a hiss. Warm air touched Eli's skin, clean human air. Not metal, not chemical, just dozens of people were walking through the metal halls, talking, laughing, fixing ships. He hadn't heard laughter in years. Kara turned to him. "Stick close," she said. "Some people here aren't used to seeing rescued ones fresh from the Empire." Eli nodded. His legs still felt weak, but he walked. As they moved deeper into the station, he noticed walls covered in old Earth flags, maps, and family photos. It was like walking through memory, a memory that refused to die. They stopped at a large metal door with glowing symbols. Kara placed her hand on a scanner. The door opened, revealing a command room filled with screens and holograms of star maps. A tall man stood at the center. His face was lined, his eyes sharp. He wore a long brown coat with the same flame emblem. "Kara," he said, his voice steady. "You made it back." "Barely," she replied. "We've got one more now, Eli." The man's eyes studied Eli for a long moment. "He's the one from the Cold Empire's bed program?" Eli stiffened. "You make it sound like I was an experiment." The man nodded slowly. "You were, but not by choice. I'm Admiral Rowan. You're safe here, for now." Kara briefed Rowan on everything. The escape, the chase, the explosions. When she finished, Rowan turned to Eli again. "You said Lady Vera bought you?" he asked. Eli nodded. "She kept me alive." "Said I was useful," Rowan frowned. "Vera isn't just any noble. She's part of the High Cryon Council. If she had you, she must have been protecting something." Eli looked confused. "Protecting what?" Rowan tapped on the console. A hologram appeared, Eli's image surrounded by streams of glowing data. "This," Rowan said. "The Empire ran tests on your DNA. Your cells hold something called thermocore energy, a mutation that lets you survive in freezing space. They couldn't recreate it, so they used you." Eli felt sick. "So I'm a battery to them?" Rowan's eyes hardened. "No. You're proof that humans can adapt to anything. You're living resistance." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed through the station. A voice shouted over the comm, "Unknown ship approaching. High Cryon signature detected." Kara's face turned pale. "No, it can't be." Eli ran to the window. Out in the black sky, a massive shadow appeared, silver and sharp, surrounded by ice-blue flames. It was Lady Vera's ship. Rowan barked orders. "Activate shields. Prepare interceptors." Kara grabbed her gun. "She tracked us." Eli's stomach twisted. He could almost hear Vera's voice again. "You will keep me warm forever, human," he whispered. "She's not after the station. She's after me." Rowan turned sharply. "Then we'll use that." Eli frowned. "What do you mean?" Rowan leaned closer. "You want to stop the Empire? Then let's make her chase you, straight into our trap." The command room buzzed with movement. Pilots ran to ships, engineers activated cannons. Outside, Haven Station's shields glowed brighter, forming a blue dome around the structure. Kara looked at Eli. "You don't have to do this. You just got out." Eli looked at the window, the cold light of Vera's ship growing closer. His reflection stared back at him. Tired eyes, broken face, but something new burning behind them. "I spent years keeping her warm," he said quietly. "Now it's her turn to feel the fire." Kara smirked. "That's the firekeeper talking." She handed him a small communicator. "Stay close. Once we launch the decoy, we move fast." Outside, explosions lit the dark as fighters clashed. Vera's ship unleashed waves of energy, shaking the station. Through it all, Eli stood by the window watching, not as a slave, but as a spark ready to ignite. And far beyond the stars, the war for humanity's survival had just begun. The warship of Lady Vera hung outside Haven Station like a frozen moon. Its silver hull shimmered with icy light, and a storm of smaller drones circled it like angry bees. Inside the command room, every human eye was fixed on the glowing screen that showed it approaching. "Power to shields," Admiral Rowan ordered. "Fighters to launch bays. I want all guns ready." The air buzzed with energy and fear. Kara checked her weapon while Eli stood behind her, his heart thudding. He had faced the cold before, but this time it was different. Now he wasn't a prisoner. He was the bait. Rowan turned to him. She wants you alive, not dead. That gives us a chance. Once she deploys her capture team, we'll pull them into our trap. He tapped the hologram. A 3D image of space appeared, showing Haven Station and Vera's ship. 2 blinking circles marked the ambush points. Kara looked at Eli. You sure you want to do this? Eli's voice was steady. I'm done running. If this ends her hunt, it's worth it. Rowan gave a small nod. Then suit up. You're going outside. Minutes later, Eli stood inside a small pod attached to the outer hull of the station. Through the glass window, the endless black of space stared back at him. He wore a light pressure suit with thin armor plates, borrowed, old, but functional. In his ear, Kara's voice came through the comm. Remember, Eli, don't fight them. Let them think they've caught you. We'll trigger the EMP the moment they get close. He breathed out slowly. Copy that. The pod door opened. Silence swallowed him. Stars burned all around, cold and distant. Eli floated free, a single human in a sea of darkness. His suit lights blinked weakly. He felt tiny, but not helpless. Far away, Vera's ship turned slightly. A ray of blue light shot toward him, a tractor beam. He didn't resist as it pulled him closer. Inside his helmet, Eli whispered, Come and get me. The beam dragged him through the void until he hit the alien ship's docking bay. Robotic arms grabbed him roughly and lifted him into a metal corridor. The air inside was freezing, biting through his suit. He could see his breath form tiny clouds, and then she appeared, Lady Vera, tall, silver, and calm as ever. Her eyes glowed faint blue, and her long coat moved like liquid ice. Welcome home, my little flame, she said, her voice soft and cruel. You ran far, but warmth always returns to the cold. Eli stared at her. You call this home? You kept me in a cage, Vera smiled faintly. You misunderstand, human. You were never my slave. You were my creation. The words cut through him. Creation? I was born on Earth. She circled him slowly. Yes, but your blood changed under our science. We rebuilt you cell by cell. You are the bridge between human and Cryon. You are mine. Eli's heart pounded. No, I'm human. I'll die human. Her smile faded. Then die. She raised her hand wing and the walls came alive with light. Blue energy bolts crackled through the air, striking the floor near his feet. Eli dove behind a pillar as alarm screamed. In his ear, Kara's voice exploded. Eli, do you copy? She's scanning you. We're losing the signal. I'm inside, he shouted. She knows who I am. Hold on, EMP in 10 seconds. Vera turned sharply, sensing the buildup of power. What have you done? She hissed. Eli smiled bitterly. Something human. The explosion of white light filled the bay. The EMP wave spread out like a heartbeat, shorting every machine around. Robots froze mid-step. Lights flickered and died. Vera screamed, a sound like breaking glass. Eli fell to his knees, smoke curling around him. His communicator crackled back to life. We got you, Kara said. Hang on, extraction team's coming. But before he could answer, cold fingers wrapped around his neck. Vera wasn't gone. Her eyes glowed brighter now, filled with rage. You think a little pulse can stop me? She whispered. I am not machine, I am frost itself. She lifted him effortlessly. His vision blurred. Then through the haze he saw something. A spark forming on his skin, small flames flickering along his gloves. The heat from his body glowed red gold against her icy hand. Vera's face twisted in shock. Impossible. Eli's voice was weak but firm. You made me fire. Now burn. A wave of heat burst from him, wild, uncontrolled. Vera screamed as her icy armor cracked and melted. The corridor filled with light and smoke. The metal around them dripped like liquid. When the extraction team arrived, they found Eli unconscious on the floor, surrounded by molten steel. Vera was gone. Only ash and frost remained. Kara knelt beside him, checking his pulse. He was alive, his skin warm like sunlight. She whispered, You really are the firekeeper. Light. That was the first thing Eli saw when he woke. Soft, golden light flooding through a glass ceiling. He blinked several times, trying to remember where he was. The air felt warm, gentle, almost human. He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his body like lightning. Easy, a voice said softly. You're safe, he turned his head. Kara sat beside his bed, her arm wrapped in bandages, her face tired but smiling. Behind her, medical machines beeped quietly. A faint hum filled the room, the heartbeat of Haven Station. Eli touched his chest. How long was I out? 3 days, Kara said. We thought you were gone. Your body temperature was insane. You melted through your armor, he frowned. And Vera? Kara looked away. Gone, the ship was wrecked by the heat. No trace of her left. Eli closed his eyes. Then it's over. But the way Kara stayed silent told him it wasn't. Later, Admiral Rowan entered the medbay. His face was calm, but his eyes looked heavier than before. You did it, son, he said. You destroyed one of the Empire's leaders. Eli tried to smile, but his voice was low. I didn't mean to, it just happened. Rowan studied him. We ran tests while you were asleep. Your body's changing, Eli. The energy inside you, and it's growing. Eli stared at him. Growing? What does that mean? Rowan pressed a button on a tablet. A hologram appeared, Eli's body glowing in red veins of light like fire under skin. This, Rowan said, is the thermocore. It's alive now. The Empire tried to make living weapons from human heat. You're the first success one and the only one who survived. Eli felt his stomach turn. You're saying I'm a weapon, Rowan sighed. No, I'm saying you could be one. It depends on what you choose. That night, Eli stood alone at the viewing deck. Outside the window, space stretched endlessly, stars like sparks floating in black water. He raised his hand. A faint glow pulsed beneath his skin. It wasn't painful anymore. It felt alive. Warmth spread through his veins, not like fever, but like something ancient waking up. He whispered, What did they turn me into? Kara's reflection appeared beside him. Something they couldn't control. He didn't turn. They'll come again. You know that, she nodded. The Empire doesn't lose quietly. But they'll think Vera's death broke us. We have a little time. Eli finally looked at her. And you? What do you think of me now? Kara smiled faintly. I think you're still human. You saved us. You saved yourself. That's what humans do. Her words were kind, but inside Eli wasn't sure he believed them. The next morning the station buzzed with energy. Dozens of survivors gathered in the hangar. A huge hologram of Earth shimmered above them, cracked and glowing red. Rowan stood on a raised platform addressing everyone. The Cold Empire believes they can freeze this galaxy, he said. But humanity burns brighter than any star. We have a chance, and that chance stands among us. He pointed at Eli. All eyes turned. People whispered, some with awe, some with fear. Rowan continued, Eli isn't just a survivor. He's proof of what we are capable of. His thermocore power can lead us to victory, and if we master it. Eli's heart pounded. Wait, he whispered to Kara, what is he doing? Motivating them, she said, though her tone was uneasy. Rowan turned to Eli. Will you fight with us, Firekeeper? The room erupted in cheers, but Eli stayed silent. He looked down at his glowing hands. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a fuse waiting to blow. Later, in a quiet corridor, Kara found him staring at his reflection. His eyes glowed faint orange now. You didn't answer him, she said. I can't promise to fight, he said slowly. Not until I know I can control this. What if next time I burn all of you? She stepped closer. Then we'll help you control it. Together. Before he could answer, the lights flickered. A loud alarm rang through the hall. A voice shouted over the comm. Emergency signal from Sector 9. Something's entering orbit. Kara's eyes widened. No. Not again. They ran to the command room. The hologram showed a massive ship emerging from warp space, black, sharp, and far larger than Vera's. Its symbol burned across the hull, a frozen crown. Rowan's face went pale. That's the Cryon Emperor's flagship. Eli's breath caught. He came himself, Kara whispered. If Vera was the storm, he's the winter. Outside, space lit up as the Empire's fleet surrounded Haven Station. The walls trembled. People screamed. Eli clenched his fists, the heat rising again under his skin. He looked at the stars, his voice low but fierce. They took everything from us now. It's their turn to feel the fire. Flames flickered from his hands, bright enough to paint the walls in gold. The stars burned red that day. From the deck of Haven Station, Eli watched the Cryon Empire's fleet spread across the sky like a wall of black glass. At its center loomed the Emperor's flagship, a monster of frozen steel. It pulsed with icy blue light, alive, ancient, patient. Inside the control room, alarms wailed. Engineers shouted. Children were moved to the lower levels. Haven was no longer a home. It was a fortress preparing for its last stand. Kara rushed in, her face pale. "We can't hold them, Eli. Their shields are too strong." Eli's hands glowed faint orange, light trembling beneath his skin. "Then we don't hold them," he said quietly. "We burn them." Rowan turned sharply. "You can't fight that ship alone." Eli looked up, eyes calm. "I'm not alone. Every fire needs air to breathe. Haven is my air." Outside, the first blast hit. The station shook like a dying heart. Walls cracked, lights shattered, and the sound of fear filled every corridor. Eli closed his eyes, listening to it all. The cries, the explosions, the cold hum of the enemy. And beneath it he felt something deeper, the thermocore inside him alive, whispering. It wasn't pain anymore. It was calling. Kara grabbed his arm. "You'll die if you try to use that power again." He smiled faintly. "If I don't, we all die." She looked at him, fear in her eyes, but also faith. "Then I'm going with you." He shook his head gently. "You already saved me once. Let me return the favor." Before she could protest, he kissed her forehead. Quick, warm, human. Then he walked toward the hangar doors. The airlock opened with a hiss. Eli stepped into the darkness of space, his suit glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The Emperor's flagship loomed ahead, a giant shadow crowned with ice. The Cryon Emperor's voice echoed through the comm, smooth and cold. "You are fire. I am frost. You cannot win, human." Eli's reply was calm. "Maybe not. But I can melt the crown." He raised his hands. The flames burst outward. Not red, not orange, but white-hot light. The thermocore ignited fully, a miniature sun born from human rage and love. The glow expanded, wrapping around his body until he looked like a star in human shape. The flagship's cannons fired, but the beams evaporated before touching him. He flew faster, breaking through debris, shattering drones, leaving trails of molten sparks. Inside Haven Station, Kara watched the screen. The entire room fell silent. Eli's energy readings spiked beyond anything they'd seen. Rowan whispered, "He's going to destroy himself." Kara's voice trembled. "He knows." Eli reached the flagship. He landed on its hull, his boots melting through the ice. A massive figure appeared before him. The Cryon Emperor, tall and ancient, his body made of frozen crystal. "You think your warmth can kill eternity?" the Emperor said. Eli looked straight into those cold eyes. "I don't need to kill eternity," he said softly. "Just thaw it." He plunged his hand into the metal beneath his feet. The thermocore flared. The fire spread like a storm, running through the Emperor's ship, turning circuits into lava, glass into vapor. The Emperor screamed, his icy form cracking apart. "Impossible." "You are not," Eli cut him off. "I'm human. That's all I need to be." The flagship erupted in light. A wave of energy exploded across the sky, red, gold, and white, a supernova of human fire. From Haven Station, the crew watched in awe as the Empire's ships shattered one by one. Then the light faded, silence, no signal, no voice. No Eli. Kara stood frozen, tears running down her face. Rowan placed a hand on her shoulder. "He did it." But she whispered, "He's still out there. I can feel him." Days passed. The wreckage of the Empire drifted through the void. Haven Station repaired itself piece by piece. Life returned. One night, Kara walked to the viewing deck, the same place where Eli once stood. She looked at the stars and saw something faint, a small spark moving through the black. Her lips trembled. "Eli?" The spark glowed brighter for a second, then disappeared among the stars. But the warmth lingered, soft, steady, like a heartbeat in the dark. Narration, final lines for YouTube ending. They called him a bed warmer, a thing made to heat the cold. But he became more than warmth. He became the fire that ended winter. The camera fades to black. Then one last spark flickers on screen, a whisper of flame floating in endless space. The end.